Welcome everybody to the seasonal diet, eating what our ancestors ate when they ate it like we were evolved to do. So right now, at this time of year, we are just starting to get into top vegetable season, in the European diet at least. So in this video, we're speaking about the vegetables that are native to Europe, and I'm talking about all parts of Europe here, for at least the vegetables that we have had in most parts of Europe for many thousands of years. Unfortunately, guys, there are not that many. Here are the main ones. Carrots, different types of cabbages, there are quite a different things related to this, parsnips, turnips, certain types of lettuce, and many of the leafy greens we can also say, horseradish, and that's about it unless you want to include the herbs, but we're skipping that in this video because I spoke about that in the spring when they were in season. These vegetables here are native to everywhere in Eurasia, really, and we have evidence of these originating somewhere, most of them in the Middle East, but they would have been in the north of Europe too, both growing wild and cultivated for many thousands of years. We have found seeds of these in the archaeology, even all the way in the north of Europe from 4, 5, 6,000 years ago, so they are very much a part of the ancestral diet for all of Europe. We can expand on this small list though and include some of these. Now these are the vegetables that are maybe native to the south of Europe or the Middle East, but they don't really have a super long history in the north of Europe, and we have a lot more of them here. So there would have been more vegetables that the ancestors in the south of Europe would have had access to as opposed to the north, these vegetables here, and they would have had even more when the Silk Road trade opened up a few thousand years ago, but they have been eating these things for thousands of years at least. We have written records of a lot of them too, from the ancient Greeks and Romans 2,000 years ago or more. But in the north of Europe, we really don't have any evidence that these vegetables were cultivated and or traded until maybe 2,000 years ago, depending on the region. Some of them were not eaten in the north of Europe until just 100 or 200 years ago, so the south of Europe and the Middle East had a lot more choices of vegetables in their diet for a much longer time, and this is for good reason. A lot of these vegetables simply don't grow in the north of Europe because it's too cold, too damp, too cold, and without chemicals and greenhouses and modern technology like we have today. So ancient humans living in the north of Europe, because I know that's where a lot of you watching have your ancestry from, they did not really eat a whole lot of vegetables compared to other places in the world. The ancient people's diets in the north of Europe would have resembled maybe the modern diets of like the Sami people or the Eskimo diets that they eat today. A lot of meat, a lot of fish, a lot of animal organs, dairy, of course, too. We have written records showing this too, actually from about 2,000 years ago, that the Germanic tribes ate like this. They ate mostly meat and dairy, and they would have definitely eaten plant foods too, of course. There are plenty of beautiful fruits growing in the far north of Europe, plenty of super healthy fruits and also herbs, but not a ton of vegetables that are native there. They would have been limited to the ones that were growing wild, some of these here, that survive the climate. And like I said, these are the main ones, and oddly enough, they are my favorite and packed with valuable, well-balanced nutrients. So I have ancestry from the north of Europe, of course, so I'm going to try to eat these primarily now when we're getting into top vegetable season, but I do add these other vegetables too from further south on occasion, and also vegetables from all other parts of the world just because they are nice and healthy and they taste good, and I like some spice in my life, which we don't find too much of in Northern Europe. But yeah, our ancestors' diets would have revolved around these vegetables, and of course now in the fall time is top season for most of these, so I will be stuffing my face in the next few months, and I have some exciting recipes to come. How about you guys? Do you like these? What do you eat at this season? Any favorite dishes? Let us know.